All right, welcome to today. MicroStrategy dumps a little bloodbath in the streets. What would one do? Not financial advice on this show, and not tax advice, not legal advice at all. But I wanted to get on and share with you some insights of what's going on today. So, not tax advice, not financial advice, not legal advice, but in this video, I'm going to share with you today what I think is happening. I'm also going to show you some charts that show you that we are not in a bear market from my viewpoint, and we have not hit the bull market yet for, or the bull run, I should say, yet for Bitcoin or MicroStrategy. So let's jump into this and talk a little bit about why I think that. But there's a couple primary things. Number one, I'm going to show you some charts here that show the history of Bitcoin and show when we were in peaks on Bitcoin and then when it crashed afterwards. And we're nowhere near the peak of Bitcoin. It's quite evident by the pricing today that we're nowhere near the peak because we're low, but I mean, we're nowhere near the peak in this bull cycle. Second thing is MicroStrategy announces good news. So it is a cool thing that MicroStrategy is on the buying spree. And so it looks like they're going to do another $21 billion. And if you take a look right here at the headlines, Strategy comes off the sidelines with $21 billion preferred stock ATM offering. A fresh round of purchase of Bitcoin would bring the company's holdings above 500,000 tokens. So why this is cool is Saylor's back at it again, and he's on a buying spree. So this will probably happen over the course of this year, the 21 billion. I'm not sure what the actual data says, but that's my guess. And the cool thing is that it's preferred stock. So if you remember when they came out with STRK, which is Strike, their preferred stock, it pays about an 8% dividend. So it's not something that I personally invest in because I'm looking for more than 8%. People who buy it have an option to convert into common stock later on in the future. But it's a cool offering in the marketplace, and it's not going to tap the it's not going to lower lower things for us in terms of typically dilution of the shares takes place when he's hitting the ATM. But for these preferred stocks in particular, the 21 billion, when he issues them, they will not dilute the share value, which is really, really good. So that's exciting, right? So it's good news. That's bullish news on horizon. But obviously, let's address the bear in the room and the fact that things don't look good right now in terms of the price point. And that is very obvious to everybody right now in the marketplace. So if you take a look at the charts, which I want to show you here long term, I want to show you a chart that will actually show you kind of the cycles that Bitcoin goes through in 2017, 2020, and now 2024. So you can see what the data shows of where Bitcoin is, and that's an indicator for where MicroStrategy is. But a really good thing what Saylor's doing, he's obviously sticking to his convictions. In times like this, where the market is really, really low, you got to stick to your convictions. I'm not selling right now. I just bought more today. So I actually just bought more of not MicroStrategy, but a 2x leverage version of MicroStrategy. So I just bought more this morning, and it has since gone down. If you want to look at, first we'll go to this. I'll show you my buy this morning, and to show you that I'm looking at this as a buying opportunity right now. So when I look at the 2x version of MicroStrategy that I bought, MSTU, some buy signals came in here early today, and I'm going to remove these drawings here. And so some buy signals came in on the charts here, and I'm going to zoom in for you so you can see this. And so I bought in today when this stock was at about 4.5, and now it's dropped over 13% since I bought in. But I remember early on in 2024 when MicroStrategy, MSTU, not MicroStrategy, but MSTU was around this same price point. And I remember buying in around this price point. So if I look at it right now, yes, my MSTU portfolio is down, but when this thing rocket rides, it's going to rocket ride, which is why I loaded up more on it today. Okay. Not financial advice for anybody. This is a super, super risky stock, but I'm like, God, it's on sale even at 4.5 where I bought it today. It's on sale now. It's on super sale right now. And then when you look at what Saylor's doing right now, he's loading up. He's got a strategy to buy 21 billion more here in 2025. So Saylor's loading up. Figure if Saylor's loading up, I'm going to be loading up with whatever dry powder I have. And I have still all my large positions in MicroStrategy, all my large positions in MSTU, all my large positions in Bitcoin. And it goes MicroStrategy, it goes Bitcoin, and then it goes MSTU. So those are what my positions are, and some in Tesla. Now, if you look at the charts of where the analysis is, I like to have stable things that I operate from when I'm making decisions. And of course, reinforcing the things that are good. We obviously know the price is bad. I'm not acknowledging that. The price is bad comparatively to where we want it to be. Okay. Now, depending on where you bought, I'm still in the profits heavily on my MicroStrategy, my Bitcoin positions, because I bought way early on. But even so, nobody likes to watch it go all the way up and then go all the way down where it's at. So I bought more today. And I'm looking at this and looking at where we're at in the bull market. And so when we look at, most people think we're not in a bull market right now, but I still think we are in a bull market. Even though the scenario looks like it's bearish, I think we're still in a bull market. And I think the bull run is going to hit in 2025 and we're going to go gangbusters. And that's how I'm making all of my decisions right now. Now, when you look at what's happening right now and we take a look at the charts here, there's a good analysis here that shows analysis here on the screen that I think is very interesting to look at. And I've showed this once before on the show, but when you take a look at all the peak cycles for Bitcoin in the past, and you look at in 2021 when Bitcoin peaked up, if you look at this graph up here where it gets pink, let me see if I can zoom in for you, where it gets pink, you can see that in 2021 where it's pink, it was at a score of 7. So when it goes above 7, typically when it goes above 7, there's a market crash or correction after that. So if you look in 2021, the score was above 7 here. And MVRV just means market value, realized value, when you look up here to the top left. So when you look at the market value right now, this is what the market value is at, and the realized value is what people have bought Bitcoin at. So the market value is higher than the average of what people have bought it at in present time, okay? But the point of this whole graph is to look at right here on 2021, when we peaked during the bull run, we went above the 7 mark and then it crashed down. In 2018, right around this time, end of 2017, beginning of 2018, it went above 7 and you see the graph was all the way up here at 10. If you go back to 2014, you see the same thing where you had a spike above 7, it went all the way up to 10 or 9 above here, 9. So you have, the score was in 2014 for Bitcoin was at a 9 on this chart. It was at a 9 again here, and down here was at a 7 in 2021. Some say because we never really hit the peak of the bull run in 2021 and it ended early, but we're still at a 7, which is an indicator that Bitcoin is overbought at this point, and there's going to be a market correction. It's going to crash down and correct. So that's in 2021. Now you look at 2024. Put your attention to the right of the screen because this is super important. It's easy to get caught in FOMO. It's easy to lose your certainty. It's easy to look at scenarios like this and go, oh my God, I should start selling. And I think that the whales want this to happen. They want to decrease the price. They want to suppress the price. They want you to sell. And the people get afraid are going to sell and they're going to scoop up the prices. And also, some of the data that I've been studying recently is that we're looking like we need interest rates to go down. And so what's happening is you're seeing a big push because the U.S. has to refinance their debt coming up in the next 6 months. And of course, when they refinance their debt, they want to refinance their debt at a lower interest rate. So when the markets are getting corrected right now, the markets, I think, are being pushed down. I think the markets are being manipulated right now. And so as the markets drop down, eventually we'll have a correction in interest rates. And then as we have a lowering in interest rates as well on top of that, and the Fed cuts the interest rates, that will be good for the markets, and then we'll have the run again. When that's going to happen, I don't know. But what I am looking at and paying attention to long-term in terms of cycles of Bitcoin, if you look at the lower right here in 2024, we currently right now are below a 2. So the point is, it's like we're at a 1.68 score, all right? When you get down to 0, that's like buying range, buy is the buying range, where when you get to a 7, it means Bitcoin is overbought. And when you get down towards 0, it means it's oversold. And so right here on this chart, as you're looking here, We're like a 1.68 in present time. So what this means is that we are nowhere near in 2024 being overheated to a peak like a 7 up here, which is the typical indicator score of 7. That means that we are overbought, overbought, and there's going to be a huge correction or crash. Happened in every single bull run before. It was a 7 here in 2021. In 2018, if you go back here, we're up at a 9 here, the score. Anytime it's above a 7, that's the indicator that it's overbought. It is nowhere near overbought now. In 2024, we haven't even gotten to the point where it's been overbought. So we have not hit the run that we typically see in prior cycles. Now, obviously, this is a different cycle that we're looking at right now. But if you look at where we're at on the charts, even when we were like, the sentiment was bearish like a month ago, weeks ago, 2 months ago, if you look at this chart, the highest we're at is even during that time is around 3 on the Z-score, right? So you go down here to the score, we're like a 1.68, guys. So we have not hit the 7 range. This is what we're looking at. I'm going to be watching this chart throughout the year when we hit the 7 range, because that's going to be the area that I'm going to take profits. That's going to be the time that I sell. This is no place, no time that I'm even interested in even looking at selling right now at all, even though I'm heavy in profits in Bitcoin. I'm heavy in profits in MicroStrategy, and I'm down in MSTU, the thing that I bought on, which is more of a leveraged MicroStrategy that I purchased more today. I'm down today from what I bought. So that's the indicators that I'm looking at to zoom out. And the funny data on all of this is like, it's like, you get the funny data and the look at this where people start flipping out. And rightfully so. It's like nobody wants to see the correction, but we've been through these corrections with Bitcoin before. This is not the first time we've seen this. I think in 2020, we had 38% corrections on Bitcoin. So we are seeing a correction like that right now. May it go lower? Yeah, it could totally potentially go lower. Is the stock market down as well? Yes, the stock market is down. The S&P is down. The markets are down, period. So at some point, we will go back up. I do believe War Room says this is an intentional hit. I do believe it is an intentional hit. And so I believe that the market's being manipulated. It's just that simple. But you can't have this kind of news that's so bullish for the future of Bitcoin. And if I were a whale and I were hearing this news, and if I were the US too, I would want the markets to drop so I could buy Bitcoin at a lower price. And there is that announcement with the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve that the US says that they will use budget neutral strategies to acquire more Bitcoin. So at some point in 2025, I will expect the US to acquire more Bitcoin with budget neutral strategies. All right. And that's just what I'm seeing. And so we have a really, the announcement, it would be good to just like take a look at this funny thing because I don't know if I have the chart to pull up, but let me see if I have it. I mean, let's just not forget this actually did happen. Okay. So when everything goes to the crapper and things are dropping down, my buddy's texting me this morning, it's melting down, just purely from like, a friend text. But it's like, we have to be able to go into agreement with what is true for the long term and not go into agreement with the manipulation, the fear, because that's when people start going to agreement with fear is when they start selling, they make bad decisions. Not financial advice at all, but I'm not going to make a bad decision and go sell my Bitcoin right now. And I'm not going to make a bad decision and go sell my MicroStrategy. And if you look at the indicators of what, Trump obviously signed this executive order. I mean, I know you've heard it. The whole world's heard it, but look at it again. Just look. Okay. Because it puts your attention on things that are solid and true, which in the White House of the United States of America, Trump's executive order creates a strategic Bitcoin reserve, as well as a separate digital asset stockpile, which I think is cool for America. I'm not as interested in that. I'm more interested in the strategic Bitcoin reserve because that is the stable operating base of how I operate. Bitcoin is the stable operating platform that I look at, and it's where I make my decisions from because it also is the indicator for MicroStrategy as well. Okay. So if Saylor, this did happen in the White House. I know it's old news, but put your attention back on it. It was signed. It is passed. The executive order has been stroked. So let's not forget that, okay? Let's not forget that Saylor just came out. I mean, how excited is Saylor? He's on a buying spree right now. He's going to go on a buying spree. So cool, right? Like, let him go on a buying spree. I love it, It's good. And, again, if you're just joining, this is the news. here, it's in the headlines, right? Strategy comes off the sidelines with 21 billion preferred stock ATM offering. It's good news. All right. Now, the bad news is that the markets are down, right? Nobody wants that. But I bought more today. I don't know what you're doing, not financial advice at all, but I bought more. And my buddy and I are just talking, let's get more dry powder so we can buy more. All right. And, living through this, I mean, I remember when prices of MicroStrategy were at this. I remember when MSTU, the 2X version of MicroStrategy, was down at this price point around 4. It's now down at 3.9 right now, but was down around 4, like low 4s when I first bought in. Okay. And we watched it rocket all the way up to 37x from where it is right now. So if you just think we're going to get back to where we were, if that was the outlook and you had that outlook, and to me, that's a bearish outlook that we're going to just get back to where we were with MicroStrategy at its all-time high. If we look at MicroStrategy right now, and we look at the markets on this, MicroStrategy price point is 237 right now. Yeah. So that's what we got going on for MicroStrategy. Obviously, it's low. I remember it was a 226 last week. But sticking to the fundamentals of, where are we going? I just think this chart, I'm going to share it again. I just think this is a super cool chart to look at because it allows you to zoom out and it allows you just to see in the peak cycles of the bull run. The graph for Bitcoin was in this pink line here. So when you see the pink area of the graph, this is all the peaks of the prior bull runs. Right here is one, up here is one, up here is one, and you can even go back up here to the previous bull runs. Is up here is one. So in every cycle before, we've had these peaks above 7. We're at a 1.68. It is coming. Okay. So I continue to maintain my position on this. I don't know where the price is going to go tomorrow or the next day. Clearly I don't, because I bought, I bought when it was I bought MSTU at 4.5. It's at 4.04. So I bought it at 4.5 today. Okay. So I don't know where it's going to go. But I know long-term I'm sticking to my druthers on this one. And I'm zooming out to look at the good things that are happening with MicroStrategy. All right. MicroStrategy is my play. I like to get leverage on what I'm doing with Bitcoin. I use MSTU, the 2X version of MicroStrategy, because I like to get super leverage. And clearly that's the only piece of my portfolio that's down right now is that. Okay. So it's exciting in terms of there is an opportunity now for people who have not gotten in, not financial advice at all. But if I was in this situation right now where I'd never gotten in, I'd look at this as a buying opportunity. Hence the reason why I bought more today. Okay. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're holding strong. If you're new to this experience of being in crypto or being in MicroStrategy, many people are new to MicroStrategy, but many people are also have been in Bitcoin for a long time. So this is not new to me. Been in it since 2018, really 2017, since I started following it. So this has been a long run of following the ups and downs. So if you are new to it, my suggestion is go take a look at graphs, go take a look at data, go take a look at good news. Go take a look at things that are going to reinforce your certainty in this marketplace. Because in a marketplace that moves up and down so quickly, it's very, 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 very easy to lose certainty. But mind you, the reason I'm in assets like this is for the volatility and the upside to win big. So with that, I have to accept that there is a downside to also lose big. And so wherever you are, if you're brand new to this, if you're just getting in the game on this, if I was just getting in the game now, I'd be excited because the prices are down so much and they might drop more. So for people who are hoping, I remember months ago, will the price go down? Will the price go down? Well, it just has, it just has. So I think, this year is going to be a great year. I'm very excited about MicroStrategy's announcement with their 21 billion of preferred stock. Who's going to buy stuff like that? You're going to have insurance companies aping into that. You're going to have pension companies aping into that because they're typically looking for rates of return like that, like an 8% preferred for strike, where they're buying strike, an 8% return for companies like insurance companies and pension funds. They would love that. Typically they get paid a lot less on things they're investing in. So MicroStrategy is a big target and bullseye for companies like that want to invest in things that have more volatility like Strike, but also are still conservative from that standpoint. So it's a good news for us. Also, we know every time that Saylor taps the ATM, it dilutes the shares, but in doing this with Strike, it's not going to dilute the shares, which is cool. So that's a good plan for 2025. And we'll see what MicroStrategy does. Will they buy 21 billion in 2025? How amazing would that be? We'll see what the U.S. does. Will they stick to the Lummis plan of Senator Lummis of buying 200,000 Bitcoin every year for the next 5 years? Will they get to 1 million Bitcoin? Saylor thinks that the U.S. should buy up 20% of the supply and go in on it. But of course, Saylor would think that because he goes all in on it, right? So I think Saylor now at this point holds 2.4% of the supply. And what that would make the U.S. holding 1% of the supply now. So hey, we're in a fun time. There can be fun in the game, and I think my main thing is, I run other businesses, so my earning power and my revenue and my income comes from other businesses, and then I use that money to fuel my investments. So in times like this, put your head down, be productive, go earn and do the things that you do best, so that when times like this come up, not financial advice, but when times like this come up for me, I'm like, great, I just took some profits out of the company, threw it into a version of MicroStrategy, a more leveraged form today, and I get to buy when the market is low. Okay. So all of my previous holdings, I'm not selling, and I'm watching this thing go up in 2025. I can't wait to see when we spring back and when we just freaking go into a freaking super hyper bull run. I'm going to be excited for that because it was really fun buying into MicroStrategy in February of 2024, and then watching that stock go up, watching that stock split, watching that stock go up to over 540, and watching the run. And also in MSTU, the 2X version of MicroStrategy, watching that sucker go up to over 30. At the time, it was 300 because the stock split. And then went down to prices like $4, $5, $10, $20. But it's exciting to watch the run up. So if you haven't experienced a run up yet and been in it, the run up is going to be amazing. If you're first experiencing the downturn right now, the downturn isn't as much fun at all. So Lama's saying, do you have income producing real estate that you could use to buy your Bitcoin? Michael Saylor showed Grant Cardone how to take profits from small. No, I don't own real estate. I don't have knowledge in that area. It's not that I don't have interest in that area. I just have more interest in this area. And I have more knowledge in this area. So, I think what I know Grant, and I think what Michael Saylor did with Grant's a great guy. I think what they did is really smart. I'm glad that Grant got into Bitcoin and really got fully in the game on this. And I think Grant's super smart, that he'll figure out a way to pull out anything and make it smart. So, and then When Stars Align says the downturn is a blessing. And then Russ Cat says, I'm buying Tesla, can't resist. Yeah. So anyway, it's gonna be fun. Just keep sticking with it. I haven't, again, if you're just joining me, I'm not saying this for like sympathy. My dad passed away about a week and a half ago. It's the reason I haven't been on the show doing this. I'm in a hotel now, so I've been traveling for like 3 weeks now, and I'll be back in my home setting to do more frequent shows and be here with you guys. I really think it's important during times like now to have community. I also think it's very important that we go in agreement with the good things, because if you believe that this is a great asset, Bitcoin, and if you believe that MicroStrategy is a great asset, then I think it's important to create strong agreement of confidence and certainty, because if it is true that whales want to manipulate the markets right now, which I do believe it's true, if it's true that they want to suppress the price and push it down, and if it's true that they want people to get afraid and sell out their positions, then they're getting exactly what they want. And my main thing is I don't want our community, I don't want other people out there who really have high hopes for these types of assets to get pushed out because of manipulation and fear. And I certainly don't want people to make bad decisions. So it's your decision to do what you want with your money. Always analyze data, think for yourself, do it based on your own situation. I don't want to give financial advice to anybody. I just like to provide knowledge and data based on what I'm doing. And during times like now, yeah, do I have moments of, oh crap? Absolutely. But at the same time, it is completely overridden and washed out by my certainty in what I'm doing and my conviction and belief in Bitcoin and MicroStrategy and my conviction and belief in Saylor. And I love how Saylor just throws it down at the appropriate time to announce the 21 billion of preferred stock. And it's kind of like, I don't know if they even saw this coming, but at some point they had to see how when they were issuing shares at the market and it was diluting the stock, that he had to pay attention to the fact that that was a problem for people in the short run, and the shares were being diluted. And so the market was getting a little bit fearful as that was happening. And so I think Saylor probably paid attention, and he's always said he wants to do what's best for the shareholders. So I think he paid attention to what was happening in 2024 when they were super aggressive with doing at the market, and they weren't as aggressive with their convertible notes. And so they were issuing lots of shares, and it was diluting the shares. It was definitely diluting the shares. But the whole benefit of that was he was acquiring more Bitcoin. So in the long run, it was just better because there's more Bitcoin that we are actually getting as shareholders when he does that. But temporarily, it dilutes the shares and it puts people in a fear. And it also gives the news great headlines to say, oh my God, he's diluting the shares again. He's diluting the shares, and people misconstrue it. So I think what he's doing now with the 21 billion on the preferred stock is super, super intelligent, because that's not going to dilute the shares. And that's exciting. All right. So I think it's super smart. I think it's really cool. And I think what he's doing is he's coming in and throwing his certainty in the marketplace at this time and going, boom, I'm doubling down, man. And that's what he's doing. He's doubling down. And this dude hasn't wavered. He just continues to stay on course. And there needs to be leadership like this during times like now. And there needs to be voices of certainty. Yeah, we can acknowledge the market is down. Yes, it's down. The prices are down. Yes, it sucks. Yes, do you sometimes get fearful? Yes, do you sometimes get doubtful? Yes, but also at the end of the day, there has to be an underlying conviction. And the way you get that is through knowledge and understanding what you've invested in, understanding what kind of a Bitcoin you've acquired if you've acquired it, understanding what you have, and understanding the long-term principles of it. And if you do that, I know that's what I do. That's how I maintain my conviction in times like now. And that's how I was laughing when I bought more today. I was like, why not? I'm just going to buy more because it's down. And it makes it fun and it makes it a game, right? So that's where we're at right now. And I get it, Robert. Robert's down over 35,000 MSTU and MSTR. I totally understand. I understand the feeling on those highly leveraged positions with MSTU. It's very risky. It's very volatile. I'm down on what I bought today, so I do understand where you're at, right? And I do understand that you bought more today as well. So great job. So at the end of the day, we got bullish news from Saylor. We got bearish news in the market. The prices may be pushed down even more. The stock market's crashing. Bitcoin's dropping, and eventually we will rebound and push back. I don't know how much lower Bitcoin's going to go. I don't know how much lower MicroStrategy is going to go at this time. If we're looking at the prices, we've got Bitcoin's at 78,600. So that's where we're at. So I hope this serves you as an update. Dark Energy says we have MicroStrategy will report earnings on May 6th. So he does have a couple months runway. That's a very good point. We'll see rock and roll. Somebody's asking for my price target on an MSTU in 2025. First off, MSTU it's a volatile, like unless you're super risky in your approach to life and super adventurous. For me personally, so this is not financial advice. I'm very risky. I take a lot of risk in my life. Okay. But I like to take intelligent chances. Okay. And so while the bulk of my portfolio is in MicroStrategy and the bulk is in Bitcoin, somebody's asking about MSTU. Yes, I do have some invested in MSTU. Okay. Where do I think it will go by the end of the year? You're asking, do I think it will get back above 30? It was up over 30. Now, with something like this that goes up 2x to MicroStrategy and down 2x to MicroStrategy, and that's what it's designed to do, as you hold it over time, it does decay. So any MSTU that I bought months and months ago, if it keeps going up and down and up and down, it is going to decay. So the likelihood of it going back to its original highs, it lessens. It does lessen because there's a decay in what it's doing from a stock standpoint. Do I think it could hit 30 again? I do. Do I think it's a real thing? Yes. Do I know that it will? I don't know. But do I think it will? Yeah. And am I in my head projecting like, oh, wow, the money that I just invested in MSTU a couple weeks ago, if that goes to 30, that's a fun win for me. So it's highly leveraged. All right. So that's it. And I'm not recommending any of that at all. Bitcoin's fun, but for me, it's kind of like, it's like my reserve play, man. I have my money in there. If I ever need it for lifestyle stuff, or I wanted to fund something in the business, I'll sometimes peel off a little bit here and there to do that. But it's kind of my reserve play. MicroStrategy is my more like rocket fuel play, and MSTU is like my rocket that shoots all over the universe and zigzags 94 different times before it goes up. But when it goes up, it hits different stratospheres and different universes. So anyway, it's going to be a fun year, and it's all exciting. And you got to take the wins and also take the losses. It's like whatever, right? We're in a temporary loss, right? If you sell, you obviously lose the money, but we're in a temporary downturn, and we're at where we're at. And I still believe that it's important to maintain conviction in Bitcoin. As you see governments doing and Michael Saylor doing, because we don't have really great financial strategies for the public around the world. We just don't. And with money printing being so high, I mean, you got to do 7% just to keep your head above water. So what other vehicles are you going to do and make these types of gains? Unless you're a real estate person where you know how to do that and that's your skill set, great. But the cool thing I love about Bitcoin is get on the internet, watch several dozen hours of videos, get some understanding of it, understand what it is. Once you feel confidence in it, you do what you want with it, and it becomes much more easy and much more accessible to people. And everybody around the world can play the game. And I don't think you can say that for real estate, which is why I think that long term that Bitcoin will be the superior asset. And so for the public, the general public, because everybody can play the game. So I think it's cool. And let's have some fun. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back to my regular station sometime, probably next week. So I'll be sporadic on shows between now and then, but I'll try and get on. And Erdan over here says Saylor is targeting to have 1 million Bitcoin this bull run. Saylor doubled his Bitcoin stock last year. We should double again this year. Yeah, I love it, Erdan. I love what he's doing. He's at over 500,000 already, or almost over 500,000. So it's pretty remarkable what I call a MicroStrategy. Comes up better in the search terms anyway. But it's kind of remarkable what Strategy and Saylor have done. So it's pretty cool. So have a great rest of your day and hold strong. If your certainty is that you think this is a great asset to be in, I would say hold strong in your viewpoint, and don't let the negative news and the manipulators push you out if that's what you believe. So that's the game for the day. I will see you guys on the other side, and have a tremendous, tremendous rest of your day, and listen to good news. Look at the data and make decisions for yourself, but listen to good news. You can look at the data without listening to bad news. You don't need bad news on your lines. Go look at the data, observe for yourself, figure out where you think we are, take a look at what you think is going to happen in 2025 and beyond, and make your own decisions. But don't listen to the bad news. Okay? Talk to you soon.